Okay, so I did a video recently about hanging out with this schizophrenic girl who was high on speed, and it kind of got me thinking about schizophrenia in general. I've met a few people with schizophrenia. I think my dad has schizophrenia as well. Not 100% sure, and I haven't really had a relationship with him in like 10 years. I think that I've not had it, but I've been isolated, and I've kind of had a lot of experience living in my head. So I think I'm kind of walking on a razor's edge of staying in the moment and dissociating. And I think a lot of people are like that with neurotic type behavior. And I think, well, there's a country song that goes, I've always been crazy, but it's kept me from going insane. And I think I've cited that a couple times on this channel. But so anyways, to get back to the point, this girl was kind of in a halfway house, and it was a drug using halfway house. They have the sober ones where it's a dry facility, then they have the ones where you can smoke meth in your room, and it was in that. Obviously, I would say that living in a dry facility would be beneficial to somebody with schizophrenia, but from what I could tell from her, from another homeless lady that had schizophrenia, and kind of just watching my dad become isolated more and more and become heavier and heavier involved in alcoholism. It seems that a social network is the main remedy for people on the verge or living with schizophrenia or similar disorders. And I think from what my high school psych knowledge is there's 4 classifications of schizophrenia. There's paranoid, there's like narcissistic, there's a few different types, and the different hallucinations, some are auditory, some are visual. I don't know if that is present in all, or if it's as severe in all. But what I've seen is people who don't have a social network or isolate themselves for many years become either schizophrenic or at risk for schizophrenic type illnesses. And you look in like chimpanzees and things like and their way of dealing with each other, their grooming. If they don't groom each other, those parasitic bugs will actually make their hair fall out. They'll get sick. They'll be kicked out of the grouping, and they'll eventually die. And I kind of feel schizophrenia is like a mental version of that. We don't have a schizophrenia, and schizophrenics and humans don't actually have those bugs that need to be groomed off. But if these people and these populations are marginalized and not kept in society and in a social group and a social hierarchy, and being shown new things and being supported and have a launch pad to greater success, they're going to fall into this pit of hopelessness, living in the head, delusions, and mental illness. And I think to go in and out of halfway houses and then to kind of be so distraught and so nihilistic that you begin using drugs. And a lot of these people seem to have low IQs as well. And that's kind of like a 1-2 punch, because some more high functioning people who are on the verge of being schizophrenic or something like that can have artistic outlets or creative outlets for the disorder. And you look at even things as simple as marketing, you kind of go outside of the box of thinking, so to speak, and try to create new ideas. And that kind of artistic realm is already kind of going outside of the group think and trying to create your own reality. And like someone who writes writes a script or a book, they're kind of going into their own reality, their own dialogue, and they're creating these narratives and these worlds. It's almost like a pseudo schizophrenic type thing in a lot of these artistic pursuits, where it would take a higher IQ to really string them together into great ideas like storylines or creative ventures. And some of the people who have behaviors or thought patterns like this that are lower IQ seem to kind of fall into hopelessness because they're socially rejected over and over and over again, or they have peculiarities. I can't, anyways, I'm not even going to try. Sometimes my head ain't right to be saying all these words. I got the best words. I went to an Ivy League school. I have the best words. I can't do a Trump impersonation, but yeah, their IQ isn't there, so they fall into hopelessness and despair, and they don't have a creative outlet for that, and it becomes an internal dialogue that goes nowhere. I think somewhere along the line, it was almost like a bad guitar string. Like in a song, you hit the wrong note, everyone knows, or a string breaks, or you hit the wrong note on the piano, whatever metaphor you want. And they're trying to remedy that and kind of go into that and learn about what went wrong. And then they're kind of making these alternate worlds to explain something that went wrong to themselves. And if they're in a group where they've been ostracized, they're trying to figure out things in these long-winded alternate realities. And the only thrill they have is substance abuse, or if it's around and they're tempted. And if they have a lower IQ and they don't really have any way to channel their interests, they're going to hit the dopamine button of smoking crystal meth. They're going to hit the dopamine button into all kinds of negative environments. And I think a dry facility would be important for someone like this, and also a social community and a social network would be important for somebody like this. Isolation obviously makes it worse. And this particular person that was schizophrenic was really trying to hook on to me as like a role model and wanting my phone number to hang out with me again. But she was asking like things like, where do I live? And I was kind of red flagged at that, because it could be a robbery type situation, right? And you don't want to be dragged down by somebody. You don't want to be put into a situation where they're going to come around to your house and try to extort you or rob you. So there is a danger there, and I understand the limitations and the walls around why people are not socializing with these people more, because I fell into that recently because she kept asking like where I lived, and it kind of set off alarm bells in my mind. But there needs to be some way to get these people back, not only into society, but a lot of these facilities aren't truly society. They're like 4 other roommates who are smoking meth, and like 1 social worker who's on the brink themselves. No real employment opportunities, no education opportunities. Some of these people, like I said, are low IQ. They don't really have any diet or exercise that can even facilitate like daily living without crystal meth to provide their energy. They're extremely far behind in every regard. But I guess what I would advocate is when you see somebody who's schizophrenic, to talk to them and just to take time out, treat them like a human being. And if they're not making sense, you can tell them politely that they're not making sense, but you have to do it in such a way where you're not challenging them. You have to do it in a way where it helps them, and you have to do it in a way where it's not going to create a situation that's hostile, and you have to actually take time out to listen to what they're saying. So it's a difficult situation. I think it's an illness caused, or at least made worse by isolation. And I just wanted to make that video, and I don't know if anyone would watch the whole thing on this. I don't know if it's something people are interested in. I've stumbled around a little bit. It was kind of a ramble, a rant. I probably should be writing these things down and then just kind of reading it off and recording it, but I find if you shoot from the hip with some of these, it's more authentic, even though it's a bit more rambly, and then it's not like I have to just be reading this thing and then editing the video and taking more time out. I kind of like to just do these simply, so I don't need to spend too much time with editing, and also to make them seem a bit more authentic. But hopefully I got a couple points across there. I don't know if I did. A lot of people on videos like this have been hating. Some have been supportive. It's about 50-50. It depends on the topic. Anything where I'm saying that people like this should have like a universal basic income or a living wage or more social spending to help them, those are the videos that usually get the highest amount of hatred. Something like this I don't think I'd get any hate for, but probably a criticism or two about the rambling, because I could have said it a bit clearer. But anyways, I hope everyone's having a good day. God bless, and peace out.